Welcome back to the bead table, my beadlings, and today we are recreating something known as the Starry Night, only this time it's going to be in bracelet form. I love colors that represent the night sky, and I think we've got the perfect mix, and I'm going to actually tell you about how I got to this combination in just a minute. But first, let's take a look at what we've got. I'm using some beautiful spiny oyster in these pebble nuggets, which brings a lot of orange, yellow, and white. There's a little bit of reds in there, definitely a whole bunch of colors that contrast the dark blue of this coin gem cut sodalite. I think those are absolutely stunning. Definitely reminds me of the night sky. We've got some yellow spacer seed beads that came in between these beads on a strand, so we're going to use them in a yellow that has like a silver lining, so almost like stars. And then we've got some beautiful blue sodalite box facet cubes. These are about 2, maybe 3 millimeter. I think these are 2 millimeter. And then finally, over here, we have some hematite that comes in a AB-coated peacock-colored coating. And those are itty bitty 2 millimeters, which makes me think that these are 3. So we've got those little guys. And then the star, literally, of the show is these star and moon toggles that are going to hold our bracelet together when we're done. I love, love, love that. We've also got some findings over here. We're going to be using some crimp covers, crimp tubes, and I've got 2 wire guards. And then we're going to cut a strand off of our satin silver fine beading wire by Soft Flex. I'm going to do about 10 inches of that. So we have that. Get this out of here. And now we can start assembling somewhat of a pattern, but I want to start off by saying that I'm going to be using only about 3 pieces of the sodalite as the center of the bracelet. All right, so let's get our first piece of sodalite in the center like that. And I do believe that I want to put a piece of the itty bitties, the hematites, on either side. And these have such tiny holes, so this is going to be a challenge as usual, but that's okay because it's going to be worth it. Yeah, I should probably just do it with my dominant hand. I don't know what I was just thinking. All right. A box facet and then 2 more of the hematite, and then we'll do the next coin beads. So box cube, and I can tell you already that I'm going to be using these little guys sparingly because they are a pain in my butt. But they bring so much sparkle, and it's very necessary. When you think of the night sky, you want to have sparkle that represents the stars. So that is really pretty. Then we'll put our other 2 coin beads on there. And I also want to make mention that all of these beads came from Sam's Bead Shop. So I will link their shop in the comments so that you can go and check them out. They have such beautiful gemstone beads. It's the only place, besides Bead Box Bargains, those are the only 2 places that I shop for my beads. And I love going to the Tuesday and Thursday live sales with Sam's Bead Shop, which brings me to my story about how this color combination came to be. There was a gorgeous strand of spiny oyster and lapis lazuli. It was a Hishi bead, so it was kind of like a mixed stone that they threw together, and the orange, the blues, and the whites were absolutely gorgeous. And it was in this tiny little cut that I thought was so cute, and I wanted it so bad because they had put it on their email that they send out, letting everybody know like what some of the finds that they have are going to be on the sale for that night. So I immediately saw it on the email and I was like, I have to have it. So I ended up getting it in my cart, which was awesome. And before I was checking out, I was kind of like eliminating the things that I didn't want. And my fat fingers decide that they're going to go ahead and delete it from my cart. Well, it was sold out because everybody else wanted them, and so I didn't get to have it. And I was so sad. So sad. And so I just decided that I was going to recreate that look with my own beads from Sam's Bead Shop and use the similar tones, the dark blues, the spiny oyster, and even though this is sodalite, it's really close in color to the lapis, and this is why we are making this bracelet today. So now I'm taking, after we've created the center portion of the bracelet, I'm just stringing on some of these spiny oyster pebbles. I'm trying to get not the super thin ones, but not the super fat ones either, so like right in the middle. And some of these holes are challenging, but not too bad, not like the little hematites. And I kind of want to just get quite a few, maybe like 6 or 7 in a row for this portion. Maybe we'll do 6. That way we get a nice bunch of the orange up against that dark blue, so we have a really nice contrast. And really, I just love all these colors together. And it really does remind me of that painting, Starry Night, with the blues and the yellows. I know there's not really a lot of oranges, but we can vary it up a little bit, I think. So there's that. And then let's go ahead and do another hematite. And then we can figure out how we want to pattern this out. Actually, let's do like how we have it there with the box cube and another hematite. So much sparkle in these little beads. And I really hope that that translates once the project is done. Let me get these on there and then I will show you an up close view of what we've got so far. Talk about beautiful sodalite, that deep, deep blue. The hematite and the box facet cubes are bringing sparkle. We got that pop of color with the spiny oyster. I am absolutely in love with this. So I think at this point, I'm going to start bringing in our 8/0 seed beads, the ones that were the spacers for our sodalite. And they're glass, so they're like perfect to use. So let's do that. I almost want to put 2 more sodalite coins on here. I think that that would be really pretty. And then put another seed bead on each side so you get the blue and the yellow together. So from this point, I'm going to stay away from the hematites because I think that they look really pretty in the front right there, and we'll just use the box facets going forward. And the 8/0 seed beads in yellow. And I know that I want to end with the yellow seed beads because the wire will go through it twice. So I'm keeping that in the back of my mind as I'm stringing, just to note that we need to end with those. I don't want to really put anything too chunky on the back either. That's like my main goal when I'm putting together bracelets, because I know when I wear them like to work and you have a hard desk or something and your bracelet is like slamming into your wrist as you're typing and stuff, like those chunky beads just don't help. And I always end up taking it off, and I'm trying to eliminate that by using smaller beads on the ends so that they don't wreak havoc on our wrists when we're wearing them. So you can see I did the seed bead, a box, 3 of the spiny oysters, a box, and then a seed bead. So that's going to be my pattern on both sides going down. So we'll get 2 more box facet cubes, and I would build one side at a time. I'm sure it would go a lot faster, but I am notorious for miscounting, and I feel if I work on each side evenly in the same sections that I won't make any mistakes, because I hate unstringing all of my work and then having to start over. So that's why I do it this way. Some people are really good at stringing one side and then working on the other, but that is not me. And plus, whatever is your comfortable way of doing things. Everybody does it different. You don't have to bead a certain way. And that's what I love about beading. Where are we at, by the way? We are just at 5.5. So let's do a couple more of our pattern, maybe one more on each side, and then see where we're at again. So I'm going to get a crimp tube, my yellow seed bead, a wire guard, and we're going to do this again because for once my extra long wire has worked into my own favor. All right, let's try this again. We're going to pinch the ends of our wire guard. We're going to take our crimping pliers and we are going to crimp our crimp tube. Then we are going to fold it in half. Give it a nice little squeeze. And then we're going to take our crimp cover. We're going to get it on over our crimp tube. Okay, so I've got 2 jump rings. They're about 5 millimeter. We're going to attach them to our toggle. So we're going to take the first one, get a good grip, open it up, and I'm going to put the star on first. Actually, it's got to go like this, right? Well, I guess it doesn't matter yet. Close up the jump ring. Give it a good little pinch if you need to line it up. I think this one is okay. Maybe just needs a little pinch on the top. These are tiny, tiny guys, but they get the job done. And it also, because it's that oval shape, it prevents the jump ring from like opening from too much strain just because of the shape, if that makes sense. The shape of it is different, and so there's not a lot of stress on one point. There we go. And now we have a little bit of leeway on our moon. And here we go. I promise you. And that actually fits perfectly. I love it. Okay, so here's our toggle with the sun and the moon. And then here's our beautiful blue, orange, and yellow Starry Night bracelet. Absolutely stunning. I love the colors. There was some pain in the butt moments, but we got through it, and and you know what I love about the toggles is that they are flat and they don't hurt your wrist. This is amazing. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and I will catch you guys on the next one. Bye, y'all.